What's up, everyone? Today we have a DR trimmer mower. It's one of those big weed eater type things. Everything seems to be pretty good on it. Obviously it doesn't run. I didn't really take a look at it at all, except for making sure there's no obvious rust holes or anything. And it seems to be pretty solid. Wheels seem pretty good. I did notice there's a little bit of fuel line funk going on there. Apparently there's a start switch missing. Must be some type of battery in there. And yeah, that's all I really know about it. So I figured we will see what we can do. I want to check for compression and fuel and all that first, so let us go ahead and get that done now. So fuel, let's see. There's fuel. Has age to it. Looks like this cable is also a little bit looks like it might still be okay. No idea what this is for though. To hold it in. Has oil. Too much oil. New oil though, so that's a good thing. Let's see, it's on run. Okay, so putting aside a little accidente, let's see here. When I pull it, it shouldn't spin, but it is. So that's fine. Why don't we put a little fuel down it and see what happens. Spark plug on this thing looks horrendous, so I'm just going to take that off. Kind of look at it first. Oh my god. Yeah, it's not the newest. I'm putting in one of these cheap little plugs I usually get when I buy like China carbs or whatnot for testing. It's not going to stay on there. But I also feel bad just throwing them away when I could just use them for testing stuff like this. Actually, let's just put a little starting fluid down here. And give her a yank. We'll check for spark at the same time as checking if there's enough compression. It's on run, so there should be a kill on. I kind of felt something. Let's take a look at the linkage. It kind of hit me that it kind of went off, but maybe the the starting fluid or carb cleaner, just kind of cleaning up some crap off the valves. So I'm gonna try it one more time. I put more in. getting somewhere. There's definitely smoke. Maybe it's this nasty plug. That's it. Put in a real plug. It was wet. It wasn't wet before. Okay, good plug now. Nope, still missing something. So I checked the spark, and it's fine. So I don't think it's spark. It's definitely not fuel related because, well, we put fuel in there. So we have compression. Let's see here. I'm just gonna put a little oil down the cylinder hole, or the plug hole in the cylinder. I'm gonna pull on it a good 10 or 15 times just to kind of work it through its area. First it's going to be real slow, like so. So hopefully what that does is it kind of, if there is any anything on the valves, kind of washes it, and we'll kind of make it so we don't have to take off the head. Now, against the idea of taking off the head, but I don't have to. I don't want to. So let's try it again. Nope. I think we have a little bit more of a project ahead than I originally thought. So, let's see what we have to do to take off this head. Probably need to put something underneath the wheels first. Huh. There we go. think I have a head gasket for this, so that might even be the problem. I'm gonna try not to have to take off the whole thing, but I might have to. These sometimes are different lengths. Not on this motor though, I don't believe so. Tecumseh's are. Head gasket came off pretty clean. So let's pull this to top dead center. Valves don't really seem like they're too loose. All that seems normal. Don't really feel anything. Or really even see anything. Take a look at the head gasket again. No. So that is the exhaust stroke. This is the intake. Let's take a look at these valves again. No, they're not squishy, they're not moving. The cylinder doesn't have excessive amount of flop in it. Well, I'm going to put a different head gasket. I'm going to clean up all the surface right here with a wire brush. Put a new gasket on there, and we'll see what that helps. So I pulled it over a little bit more. I don't know if I'm on the intake or not. So basically what I'm doing is I know that the valve should be all the way seated. I think the exhaust, I'm able to move it. Let me pull it over so the intake valve is at least starting to extend. There we go. Oh wait, no. That's the exhaust. Is the intake valve that's not closing then? No, it's good. I mean, I don't see a problem actually with it. I must have just been at the compression release. Usually you would have to take the exhaust off to check the valves, but this one you don't have to. But the wheels rusted on, and it's made of plastic. So I don't necessarily want to beat it off, so I'm just going to try to take this off without... Oh, it's a 3/8. So it's going to make it difficult on us, so we'll just have to work around the wheel. Came off pretty easy. Let us turn the engine over so the exhaust is open. So right now I have little to no play, but I'd be a lot happier if I had no play. Let's see if you can get any better of a view in there. So the top one is what we're looking for, or looking at. And I'm going to try, let's say 4 thousandths first. It'd be a lot easier if this wheel wasn't here. I don't think I'm able to get it 4 thousandths in between. Let's try 2 thousandths, which is basically paper. It's thinner than paper. In fact, it's so thin it's hard to work with. Yeah, I can't even get 2 thousandths in there. So we're gonna have to take off that valve, or take out that valve, and re-gap it. Okay, so I took that stupid wheel off. I'm just getting like a small jaw puller, or just a puller in general, and took it off. This is a special ring compressor for flatheads. It works pretty good. It's good for taking them out, but it's especially useful putting them back in. This part can be a little, here we go, I think I got it. This part can be a little aggravating. Trying to, of course, I can't even work with this. Okay, I got it out. Now I just have to get this out without having to go everywhere. That's gonna be the hard part. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing for the exhaust, and we'll take them out. In fact, let's just check the exhaust. The exhaust should be... Where's my fuel gauge? The exhaust should be not open right now. should be the intake that's open. Let's see if we even have to worry about the exhaust. Here's 4000s. 4000s goes in just fine. I believe the spec is 4 to 6, or it could be 6 to 8. Let's try 6. Either way, both of them have 6 in there, so if 6 works, then it should be fine. Yeah, the exhaust is perfectly fine. That's 6000s. So it's either, if it's 4 to 6, a little open. If it's 6 to 8, it's a little closed, but it's well within spec. So I'm going to go ahead and get the intake one taken care of. So to do this, I just took the valve, I went over to the bench grinder, and I just put this on the side of the wheel, and as carefully as possible, I wanted to make sure it was as even as possible too. So I'm going to open up the exhaust valve. It's now open. So in theory, the cam should not be touching the tappet. It should not be touching the valve right now. So let's try 4000s. Put a little pressure on it on the other side. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. It's going to go down a little bit because I'm also going to lap the valves. To lap the valves, you just take a little valve lapping compound, and I've shown it before, but I can do it again. I'm just going to lap it, put the valve back on, put the head back on, and a new head gasket, and then we'll test it out. For the 3 people that are interested in it, this is the valve tool. It's a little stick, some suction cups, squish, twist, 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 clean, and that's it. Now when you put valve lapping compound on, you don't need a lot. You just put a thin layer on there. They come in different grits. I just primarily use the thin grit. The thick one you can use if it's really bad, but at that point you're kind of wondering what's the point of that. So after a few minutes, hopefully you can see this, but there's a nice even new gray surface. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see any black, any inconsistencies in it, because if you do, it won't make a good seal, and even if it does, it might run really poorly, and then eventually could even burn a valve. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna put this back on yet because, well, yeah, I should be able to pull on it. It's just easier to put that bolt back in without that cover on. Hopefully it doesn't kick me. We got a little bit of something. Let's see if the primer works. Let's just, instead of putting it down in the cylinder, let's put it down the throat, the carb. And that filter's disgusting. My hand's almost gone. Hopefully that's enough. Let's try it. Full throttle. Okay. Well, there we go. I mean, somewhere. Let's put a little bit more. There we go. on now. Should be more than enough now. Now it's having problems. Unless I put way too much in. Hey, look. And I do believe that's exactly what happened. Put way too much in. Okay, well, I'm pretty much going to say it's a good motor now, so I'm going to take off the carb and we'll clean it. I have dozens of videos on how to take off this carb. I wasn't really going to show this part, but I took the fuel off, or the fuel line off, and it smelled absolutely disgusting. Ooh, that's water. It doesn't run too well on water. So it's definitely going to need a new seat. That is for sure. The bowl actually isn't horrible. This bowl gasket though is seeing better days. We'll get a new one. Oh yeah, that seat is completely swollen. It's just swollen to the point nothing's gonna go through there. Okay, well, I'm gonna put in the cleaner and we'll put all new disposables on it. Okay, so it's all done. This is a Tecumseh tool, 670377. It's very useful for taking out seats. You usually can just take some air and pull it, push it through, but no, wasn't happening. So this has like a little tiny hook on the end of it. Maybe now we can shoot a little air. Nope. It's going to be difficult. Ooh. Got it. Now, on the other end, it's a seat installing tool. Now, on the seat, I'll make sure it's clean. But, basically, there's a flat end, an end with a ridge. The end with the ridge goes into the carburetor. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't seat it very well. This is just a clean Allen wrench. I'm just going to put it down. We don't need to press down too hard, just make sure it's firmly in place. Put a shot of air down there with a rubber head on an air gun, just to make sure. So now, I'm going to take our float, clean it up a bit. I let that water or gas settle out a little bit on the, what came out of the carb, and to my knowledge it's about 97% water. So I know what you're thinking, isn't water made out of hydrogen and oxygen? It is. You are definitely right on that one. There's nothing getting past you. However, when they're together, it's not generally sought after in an engine. At least not by Briggs. Okay, very good. Now this is important. With a pump style engine like this Briggs, this bowl gasket, unless it was very good condition, needs to be replaced. Because if it doesn't, if the bowl doesn't seal well, the whole purpose behind that primer bulb is that there's an increase of pressure in the bowl, shoving fuel through the center into the throat of the carburetor. Well, the biggest escape for it is the bowl seal. So if it's bad, you're not going to get a very good seal. When you buy a rebuild kit, sometimes it comes with what we just put in. Sometimes a new jet, that's pretty rare. But it also comes with a new gasket for the bowl nut. They're usually pretty good. They also come with like a piece of foam. But this is fine. Okay, I'm going to install it. I drained the fuel out and it was mostly water, so I dried it out, but put towel, shoved it in there, put the air compressor, shoved it in there, dried it out. So I'm going to put this on, fuel with no fuel in there, and then put some fuel and bring it back. So here we are. New plug, put a new filter, already has good oil in it. New fuel line. What else? Clean the carb. Valve was adjusted. Both valves lapped. And I also adjusted the throttle because it wasn't all the way shutting down. Well, it wasn't at least touching the kill. Let's put it that way. It already has a line on it, so actually, I think I'm going to put it on the floor. Well, let's see. If it hits, it's fine. Let's give it a try. So that's lovely smoke you're seeing. It's actually marble. A lot of it went into the exhaust. So yeah, I think the cable needs to be lubed up for the throttle on both ends, and the cable that engages the actual line. This needs to be dealt with, but that's just kind of like an adjustment. Not too worried about that. Definitely needs to be cleaned. And that's about it. I think that should be good to go. Well, if you have a flathead Briggs that has a low compression now starting, double check the valves. You might find something you weren't expecting. If this helped you, leave a comment below. Definitely subscribe. Definitely put a thumbs up if it helped you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those as well. I will catch everyone later. And yet again, subscribe. Have a good night. Catch you in the next one.